Hey everyone, hello. So today's video is on Dan Aykroyd. You know him as Ray Stantz, Blues Brothers Elwood, the man who helped give us Ghostbusters. But behind the comedy is a lifelong devotion to the paranormal that runs deep in his bloodline. Seances in the family parlor, psychic research libraries in an old farmhouse, UFO sightings, a TV show about the paranormal, and yes, a famous line about summoning his hell energies. Dan Aykroyd didn't stumble into the supernatural, he inherited it. Multiple sources trace a line of spiritualist activities in the Aykroyd family going back to the 19th century. His great-grandfather, Samuel, sometimes referred to as Samuel Augustus Aykroyd, was a dentist who became deeply involved in spiritualism and hosted seances in the family home. These seances, journals, and books formed a family archive that passed down through generations and directly influenced Dan's imagination, including Ghostbusters. Quote, "In our parlor, spirits were not theoretical," unquote. Dan's father, Peter H. Aykroyd, later wrote a book called A History of Ghosts, a book that doubles as family memoir and the recorded history of the Aykroyds' psychic investigations. Dan even wrote the introduction and helped promote it. The family archive, journals, case notes, books, were so extensive that Dan says there's a psychic research library in the old farmhouse on the family property. He's mentioned that collection directly as inspiration for his work, which leads us to the farmhouse. Dan's family home, a lakeside farmhouse in the Kingston, Ontario area, is part family museum, part haunted house, according to Dan and numerous interviews. He talked about guest sightings, thumps on stairs, and the feeling of residual energies. Dan has described S-shaped spirits and a residue in the house that scared him and his guests as well. He said he may have been a witness to ectoplasm once, a contested classic spiritualist phenomenon. My guests have heard things, stuff on the stairs, maybe residual energy of the people who lived there. Aykroyd's interest didn't stay behind closed doors. He translated the family lore into pop culture. Ghostbusters, famously conceived by Dan, borrows heavily from old spiritualist tropes, ectoplasm, seances, and a kind of earnest, quasi-scientific parapsychology. He also took the subject to TV. From 96 to 2000, he hosted Sci Factor, Chronicles of the Paranormal, a dramatized anthology that claimed to be based on cases from the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research. This program that program and his other public work put him on the map, not just as an entertainer, but as a public promoter of paranormal claims, a move that earned him praise from fans and criticism from skeptics. In 97, he was given a disparaging award by a skeptics group for promoting paranormal claims. Aykroyd has always accepted both the scientific, curious label and the conspiratorial tag. Dan Aykroyd's paranormal interests aren't limited to ghosts. He's long been involved with UFOlogy. He has been a lifetime member and Hollywood consultant for MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. He produced UFO-themed projects, and he publicly said he's seen multiple UFOs himself. Quote, I've had 3 sightings that convinced me they weren't manufactured on Earth, unquote. He interviewed extensively with UFO researchers, produced a DVD about UFO phenomena, and brought UFO cases to mainstream audiences, again blurring the line between enthusiast and public spokesperson. Now for the spicy bit, Dan's Hell Energies line. In the 80s, Dan publicly fought a film and book about his friend John Belushi. In the controversy, he gave a memorable interview line. He said, in effect, that he had witches working to jinx the production and would muster all hell energies against it. That phrase, hell energies, has been quoted, parodied, and cited as an example of Aykroyd's colorful, almost folkloric way of talking about curses and spiritual countermeasures. Taken literally, it's a dramatic claim about magical retaliation. Taken culturally, it's a vivid example of how seriously Aykroyd has talked about spiritual forces. He used similarly dogmatic language elsewhere, for instance, saying he avoids beings that have no souls, and warning about psychic vampires, language that frames the paranormal in more moral and enigmatic terms. So, where does this leave us? Dan Aykroyd is simultaneously a comic, legend, a cultural translator of his family's spiritualist past, and a public advocate for paranormal investigation. Whether you read the farmhouse journals as earnest recordings or charming family lore, they clearly shape a creative life that brought spiritualism into mainstream pop culture. Whether you believe in ectoplasm, UFOs, or hell's energy, Aykroyd's story is a fascinating case study of what happens when private belief meets public storytelling. So there you have it. There's a bit about Dan Aykroyd and his spiritual encounters. So if you liked today's video, help me out by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, set the bell notification, and of course, share this video with a friend. And as always, I hope you found this video entertaining, enlightening, or in some way beneficial. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.